You set to go?
You're good. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, well, hello, folks. Welcome back. We're right back here at Marc's place. Well, like I said, let's introduce ourselves. This is...
I'm Marc.
I'm Elmer. And we are...
Marc and Elmer's PSI, Piano Scene Investigations.
Where you come to find out what's been happening in our world today.
We got our guests here.
Oh, we
back
do.
from Cyrus. Dimitri and Igor. This time, Grobu came along too.
Grobu.
He's been kind of independent for a while lately.
Yeah.
And then we got Toki. You know, it's Igor's pet. But
Hello, Marc. Hello, Elmer. Hello, everybody.
Oh, wow.
Hi, everybody.
Doing great. Doing great. Well, folks, if you know our MO, please, if you enjoy our company, enjoy our program, enjoy our topics of conversations, please go below our video, like, comment, and subscribe. And I keep forgetting to do this. I finally got to remember today, but come visit us on Facebook.
oh yeah,
You know, we have conversations there as well and other interesting stuff.
we call that our
for you.
forum.
Yes, our forum.
That's probably. I mean, you can always post comments on YouTube, but Facebook, you know, you can kind of interact possibly with each other. That's kind of Elmer's domain.
My domain.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. If you are born today, you share the same birthday as pianists, composers, and whatever. Alfred Jael. Jael.
Jaell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jael. Born 1832, died in 1882. Gosh, only 50.
Is he Scandinavian?
Here it says Austrian.
Oh, really?
Austrian.
Okay.
He is an Austrian composer pianist.
Huh.
I believe he is the father of his more famous daughter, I think, Marie Jael, who's emigrated to France. And supposedly she is one of the earliest to specialize and study the holistic approach to studying the piano.
Yeah, I know the name for some reason. I just don't remember why.
She has a book called La Touche.
Oh,
Touche?
yeah, touch.
Or is it Touche?
Dr. Touche.
Yeah, La Touche.
Yeah.
Yeah, she released it in...
Maybe that's how I know it's from her.
Yeah. Well, supposedly she released it, published it in 1880s. Okay, so, but anyways...
Excuse me.
Who else is on here for your for birthdays is Edward Erdmann. Have you heard of him?
I don't think so.
Nothing? Okay.
That's not familiar.
All right. Edward Erdmann, born 1896, died in 1958. He is a German composer pianist.
Up here.
I don't know him either. So, but anyways, it's important. I guess 2 important names to add on your list. So, I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's been going on lately. I make it a point to look a lot for my information on YouTube and such. I wonder if you're all familiar with the Guide to Classical Music channel. It was started by David Hurwitz. Anyways, one of his latest videos talked about Yuja Wang and Norman Lebrecht. Does that name ring a bell?
Well, yeah, but what's that all about?
Okay, well, apparently Norman Lebrecht has been, he was fired by BBC.
Norman Lebrecht was?
Yes, he's been fired.
He has been fired?
He has been fired. They just said,
Recently, you mean?
yes, recently.
Oh.
Just like in the past few weeks.
Ooh.
So it was over this entanglement with...
You write a bad review or something?
No, not necessarily, but how he treated Yuja Wang.
Ooh.
Yuja Wang, I'm hoping at this point, I think most of our viewers know who Yuja Wang is. If you don't, you should definitely go on YouTube.
One of the most extraordinary pianists alive today.
Yes.
And one of the most cattiest dressers.
Oh, come on.
Most cattiest?
Cattiest? Well,
let's put it this way: high fashion girl.
Yeah, I mean, put it this way: she's definitely entertainment. I mean, she knows how to display not just herself, but the music that she plays. I mean, she's pretty much the full package, folks.
She's incredible.
She is.
She
really
plays
is.
Horowitz and Schifra transcriptions with more ease than they ever did.
Yeah. Quite possibly. But anyways, if you want to know the story, go on Dave Hurwitz's channel to get more details on what happened. Something about Norman Lebrecht had emailed Yuja Wang about possibly scheduling a interview. Yeah, an interview, and she turned him down. So he, not to be just said no to. I guess he's not used to being said no to. He wrote back and said, "Well," he says, "I was under the impression that you took your commitments very seriously as to who you are and as a performer and a wonderful pianist." He says, "I might have to reassess my my opinions," or something like that. That's not verbatim, okay? It's not verbatim, but basically that's what he told her.
Norman is an institution unto himself, and he does. I mean, I get these little newsfeed things every day. Yeah. Different things that he puts out about stuff going on in the world musically. Sometimes the stuff can be a little snotty. Rarely, but sometimes I would say where the snotty stuff happens is the comment section.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, I talk about Caddy.
Wow.
Man, some of them people, and you see the same names, and they just. Yeah. I think it's like a club where they kind of hate each other in a way. But
but I think they enjoy it.
But
they enjoy it. I mean, they just want to see who could diss better. Okay, so
which gets a little annoying after a while. But there's been really interesting information sometimes. I would hope and think that maybe he can stand on his own, because he has, I think, slip disc and stuff like that are his own.
Yep, I'm thinking that
things,
too.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, he's the only one I've seen. His name is the only one I've seen on slip disc. So but we'll see. But Yuja Wang, more power to you.
Don't mess with the big guns.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, she's a pianist. I mean, her response.
The girl's busy too.
Yeah, she is busy. I mean, Norman Lebrecht has no idea. I mean, she's probably one of the most sought after artists today.
Yeah.
Today, I mean, I can't even imagine how many concerts she does each year. And she does it consistently.
Remember, I learned about her when I came back to the States. 2012, I'd been abroad for some time. And a fellow who was in Ellsworth's piano studio. And he now resides, most of the time, I think, almost all the time, that he's in New York City with his partner.
Yeah.
But at one time, they owned the Stokowski house in Philadelphia. The house that had belonged to
Leopold?
Leopold, yeah. They own the home. Between the two of them, they're doing well, especially his husband. Really well, apparently. Because it was a massive home and estate and all those things. Yeah. They had it lovely inside and all. They lived in there for a while. And then they've lived at, is it the Dakota? Which is very famous historic hotel in New York. But they're doing well. He's been ill recently. But I remember I came back and got on Facebook and I was talking about some great old pianists and stuff. Mm-hmm. He said, "You need to look into Yuja Wang." And I did. First thing that struck me was, well, not a lot of clothes on. And I think it just kind of shocked me at first. So my very first impression was just, whoa, But then I listened to her a few more times and I thought, damn, this girl can play.
Yeah.
Wow, she has like an effortless technique.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Incredible focus.
Yeah.
You know, just wow. And then when I heard her play, what was the Tritch Trotch Polka
Yeah.
version of
Polka,
Georgie Schiffer?
Yeah, and the Fly the Bumblebee. Fly the Bumblebee.
Yeah. Now, I would say this is one of the things where we were talking a while back.
Yeah.
And I've heard her play some Horowitz stuff, too.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
did one of the Carmen
Carmen
variations.
Variations, yeah.
She plays them with such ease and so well.
Yeah.
You remember we talked about this. You
Yeah.
got to be careful that you don't make the horrendously, fiendishly difficult look easy.
Yeah. We did talk about
It's
this.
supposed to be on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
But if you can sit back comfortably and listen,
Yeah.
I think it's nothing to detract from what she
Yeah.
does, but it's just not edge of your seat.
Yeah.
You know, because
Yeah.
she
The element
seems
of
so
risk.
self-possessed and everything. It's like
Yeah.
she ain't gonna fall down
Yeah.
here.
It's the element of risk.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. I mean, wouldn't you think? I mean, nowadays it seems like the accuracy of these younger artists is pretty impressive, but is all we see the
Yeah.
accurate performances. You know,
Yeah.
I remember one time I was stunned. It's an historic revelation, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Bernstein conducting the two Brahms piano concerti with the Vienna Philharmonic and Christian
Christian
Zimmermann as
Zimmermann,
the soloist. It's live,
Yeah.
recorded.
Yeah.
Comes out, does the first one, the first half.
Yeah.
Then he does the second one, the second
Uh-huh.
half. I think part of
Uncanny.
the reason why I remember it, not only because musically it was very satisfying, but as far as I could tell, it was faultless.
Yeah.
Truly faultless.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say he played them so he made them seem easy, no. But I love his interpretations, the way he played. It's different from some other ones that I know. I really like Claudio Rao's second piano concerto performance. Rubinstein, either one.
Oh
frankly.
yeah, absolutely.
And then there's a famous one that Horowitz did with Toscanini,
Oh yeah.
the second, which is a little weird.
Weird. Yeah, I know.
And then a runaway D minor that he did with Bruno Walter. He leaves
Yeah.
him in the dust
Yeah.
at the end of the
Yeah.
concerto. But I was really impressed. But the thing is that it's a recording of
Yeah.
a live performance.
Yeah.
And this is Brahms. Both of them, right?
Yeah.
The second one, though, is infamously.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
most concert pianists would say, "Whoo,"
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But it's apparently that work, the second Brahms, is actually making its tour nowadays in competitions.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been quite a few. For instance, Alexander Kantorov. Kantorov? Kantorov. He's his father's a famous orchestral conductor, and he competed in the Tchaikovsky competition. Not the last one, but I think it's the one before that, where he took the gold medal, and his featured concerto was the Brahms second.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was, that one was. If you saw it, I only got to see excerpts of it because that's all they showed on YouTube, and it was quite, the
Well,
burst of color.
I don't know.
So.
With the new folks playing and stuff, it does seem like the focus is just so impressive, and
Yeah.
one might almost say perfection. I mean, like no mistakes is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, and then what is Martha Argerich is still playing, and she never seems to have trouble.
Oh no, she doesn't.
Even at 80 something now.
Yeah.
Arthur Rubinstein famously said, "I dropped so many notes in my lifetime that I could have built an entire second career from those."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I wonder if part of it is, I don't know, maybe we might be worth talking about a little bit, but when Schiffer played, when Horowitz played,
Yeah.
I mean, Horowitz was renowned for his
Oh yeah.
pretty much everything where it belonged.
Yeah.
But boy, he could bring you to the edge of your seat.
Oh, absolutely. It's an ordeal. That's an experience.
I just wonder about the attitude in a way.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe we don't want to go into that because you were
Yeah.
probably heading somewhere else.
Yeah.
But maybe we don't see the mistakes. You know. Maybe we
No.
don't broadcast those. I don't know.
I mean, only Horowitz would know.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, Horowitz famously said, "If I don't practice for one day,
yeah, I know.
I know. If I don't practice for 2 days, the critics know.
Yeah.
If I don't practice for 3 days, the whole world knows."
Yeah. But anyways, best wishes to Yuja Wang, wherever you are.
Yeah.
My first experience with watching her play was on YouTube, and the very first video, and I still...
She was a little kid?
No, not when she was a little kid. It just popped up in the feed when I first, logged into YouTube. And the first video was the one entitled "The House of Flying Fingers."
Oh.
Okay, it's the title is a play on the movie. It's a martial arts movie. Okay,
Oh.
The House of Flying
Bruce
Daggers.
Lee?
Yeah,
Oh.
no, The House of Flying Daggers. I mean, it was. I think it was made in the 2010. I think. It was after the Hidden Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or Crouching Tiger, Hidden
Oh,
Dragon.
yeah?
Yeah, so it came out, a few years after that.
Okay.
And then, House
Long
of
Way,
Flying.
or what was it?
Yeah, but anyways, yeah. And she's fully clothed in that one. She's
Oh.
wearing a pair of jeans and a shirt, and she's just sitting in the back stage, warming up for the concert, and she's playing Carmen variations on it. And so... Yeah, and there you got a close up of what her hands were doing. I mean, the camera was maybe just a few feet away, just like this, and so you got to see the way she sat, and she had longer hair. It was down to here, shoulder length, and she's sitting there playing, and completely under control. I mean, absolute control.
There's videos up there. She was a child prodigy.
Oh yeah,
She was a little tiny Chinese thing with her little foofy dress and stuff,
Yep.
and she was playing pretty damn good at that time.
oh yeah. Well, Gary Graffman, I remember in an interview he was talking about Yuja Wang, and he says she was bringing in stuff that he didn't even know existed week after week, and she'd have it all learned. She'd have it all learned, and he'd be passing her in the hallway, and she was already like, practicing in her head. You could see it in her, as he walked by. He says. That she walked by, that she was definitely practicing in her head. I mean, so it's amazing.
She's an example.
So,
and in a very different way, and not as spectacular, show-offy in a way.
Yeah.
Stephen Huff is the same way, I think.
oh yeah.
He won the Leventritt years ago, right? Wasn't it?
I think it was, Leventritt or Norbert, one of the two.
Oh yeah, one of those two. I've heard him 3 times live, especially when he was a lot younger. And they referred to him as a polymath.
Oh yeah.
I think clearly you're just like one of those. Wow, just.
Yeah.
This is not just like a stellar pianist. This is
Yeah.
one of those. I don't mean it this way, but kind of one of God's freaks of nature. Like
Oh,
he
yeah.
just somehow. When he was whipping with the talent stick,
Yeah.
one of the angels came over and got his attention, and he kept, hitting you with the stick,
Yeah.
while he was tending to this thing, and you got a bigger jolt of
Yeah.
extraordinary gifts than anybody else does.
Yeah.
There's a few of them out there. Helen Grimaud is an interesting character because
Ellen
she's
Grimaud.
on the spectrum, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
And she's
is.
really cool. She started this wolf sanctuary
Yeah.
thing.
She
Up
did.
in New England somewhere.
Somewhere in yeah.
Massachusetts or New York. She has a big reserve, and she's got wolves there. And
Yeah.
her story was really interesting about how she studied in France and such. It was very untraditional,
Oh yeah.
and the way she would do things, but it was very unconventional. And that now I doubt that the Paris Conservatory is like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say back when. What's his name? The played all the Chopin and Schumann. The great French pianist. I can't think of his name right now. Had the hair. Really
Saint
famous.
Francois?
No, the
How
more
far back?
famous. Early 20th century.
Cortot?
Cortot, yeah. So Cortot studied with Louis Diemé, whose that name I remember.
Yeah, Louis
Diemé, who goes back into Chopin's time. I think
Yeah.
Chopin was alive when he was still a young kid. That was a very strict system. And interestingly, probably Friedrich Kalkbrenner had something to do with the technical approach
Yeah.
that they did. Remember, Chopin shows up in Paris. Kalkbrenner said that if he'd study with him for 6 months, he could make him into a perfect pianist.
Yeah, I know.
Chopin,
That's funny.
you know?
Chopin.
But it's this very still kind of playing like this. And it was interesting thinking about this stuff, but I'm probably talking a little bit about it because I have been reading James Francis Cook's book, where he interviews all those different pianists.
Yeah.
None of them really talk about the hairy details of technique and the old way of playing.
Yeah.
And they're talking earlier 19th century and then what was developing and so forth. It's really good. I suggest you get your hands on a copy of this book if you're interested in the history of piano technique and things like that, because Emil von Sauer gave a wonderful interview about touch and things like that. Anton Rubinstein, very interesting. Anton Rubinstein comes off surprising. I mean, one of the giants. I mean, Liszt wouldn't take him as a student. He kind of pissed off about that.
Yeah.
But then he ends up being pretty much historically the Russian Liszt.
Yep.
Right? His own world and everything. He says some interesting stuff about what we would call performance practice nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about the older instruments and hearing them played and himself playing on them. And in talking about that, he's also talking about the change in technique, because he said they've had very quiet hands and kind of played like this. Because if you ever have played a forte piano, you cannot do this arm weight stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It's totally insignificant, if not ineffective. And it's just like this. And when you watch Mr. Bilson play, he has big old hands. You know, he talks about that when he first started to play.
Yeah.
It was like, what the devil? Because he had modern technique and all this, and he said nothing that he did worked. And he had to learn how to play again. And so that was a technique that was quite the thing, I think, in Parisian training for a long time. Because you listen to these guys, Camille Saint-Saëns, people like that, it yielded really extraordinary pianism in some ways, you know? Not the grand flash-in-the-pan fire of a Russian pianist, or even the cerebral stuff of a German, which I think is still very strong and passionate. The French had it seemed like a bit of a cool detachment.
Yeah.
That was an aesthetic principle.
Yeah.
And yet, just this easily flowing kind of pianism. Yeah. We talked about this before in our past shows.
Yeah.
I invested in a certain number of recordings that Marsden put out and such of some of the pianists from that. But what I was saying was, what was I saying? It was somebody. Oh, Helen Grimaud.
Yeah.
I don't think the Paris Conservatory probably teaches like that. Now I'm pretty sure they don't.
Oh, I'm pretty sure not.
Because I took some lessons with a French lady, and she was all about
Bontil
and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, not Miss Bontil. Therese. I can't. I'll put her name up again. I can't think of her name right now. I'm sorry. I might think of it in the meantime. But anyway, it was just interesting to see these people that are playing, and I guess what I'm saying about it in a way, if you're active and you're doing your thing, chipping out your little place on the iceberg, don't compare yourself to those people. It's fruitless. I mean, now if you want to set them as an example of what you want to strive towards, good for you. But probably don't assume you're going to make it past them.
Yeah.
Those people just is like God whipped on them with the talent stick extraordinaire. But it's illuminating, isn't it, when they play?
Yeah.
I would have to say, nope, no, I'm not saying anything against her at all. Yu Wang is not my go-to pianist for a lot of things that I like to listen to.
Yeah.
I prefer other people and what they've done with things.
Yeah.
I mean, she's extraordinary. It's very sensitive. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
And Bunyatishvili as well. She played the C major Beethoven, I think.
Yeah.
It was really quite good and lovely the way she did it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll shut up.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Talking about the Brahms second concerto.
Oh.
He also played it at the Van Cliburn
I
competition.
wanted to return this to Elmer. He let me listen to it this week.
Yeah, if you recall
This
from the
is
last.
Aristo Sham's White Album. If you open it up and show him what I mean by that.
Okay.
It's his White Album.
White Album.
I'm referring to the Beatles, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. I did not know the guy's playing. I knew the results of the Van Cliburn.
Yeah.
And I heard what some people said about them.
Yeah.
You know, what I did get, I didn't watch it because I told you I'm not a big fan of watching that stuff.
Yeah.
But I did read some reviews of some critics who sat through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
talking. There's a British guy, a couple British guys, an American guy.
Yeah. Somebody from Tone Base.
Yeah.
Sat through the
Yes,
whole thing
Ben,
too.
probably.
Yeah, Ben Loudy.
Yeah. And they talked about this guy. Well, I have something to say about this guy. Wow. And now most of what he's playing on there is Bach or Bach in transcriptions.
Mm-hmm.
He plays Busoni transcriptions and one piece I've never heard in my life. Busoni's well, is it a fantasy or what do they call it? But it's something based on the little A major prelude.
A major prelude?
Isn't it? Isn't it?
10 variations on Chopin Prelude in C minor.
Oh, the C minor.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, that one, okay.
Yeah.
That is a crazy, wicked piece. It's
isn't it weird?
Really
Crazy?
impressive.
Yeah.
It starts out as like kind of strange and then it takes
It says,
off.
yeah, it's almost as if he's doodling or,
Yes.
you know.
So what's he call it?
It's just,
What's
he
it
just calls
called?
it 10 variations
Oh.
on Chopin Prelude in
Because
C
it
minor.
sounds to me like when I heard it, I didn't look at the title.
Yeah.
But it says, this is like one of Bach's fantasies. You know,
Yeah.
it just kind of starts and, you know, it's
Yeah.
nice and then, whoa, it takes off. And
Yeah,
places, you know?
exactly.
The virtuosity is
The level of it.
extraordinary.
Yeah.
But what I really love about this guy, the sensitivity of his touch,
Mm-hmm.
the nuance, is, wow. I mean, this is like the new Asian school or something. Because
Quite
what's his
perhaps.
name, the guy that we love so much from
Yu
Korea?
Chan Lim.
Yu Chan Lim. Now, this is not Yu Chan
No,
Lim.
it's not. That
Yu
sort of-
Chan Lim is a poet.
Yeah,
Really.
he's
I
a
think
far.
He's
yeah.
a colorist and a poet and
Yeah.
very. This guy's.
a romanticist. I'm going
Okay,
to say he
okay.
really is. You know, so.
Aristo Sham is one of those things we talked about in the last show. I
What's the
thought.
shame? Yeah,
He's one of those
a philosopher.
philosopher, intellectual pianists. You know, you can tell by the repertoire that he chose.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is very unusual for.
yeah,
But wow, it's like this is his debut album, right?
yeah. And he calls it Timeline.
And it's basically Bach, either by itself or with some arrangements of
Yeah.
other people. And it's a whole world of beautiful, really beautiful. Not just the sound, but
Yeah.
the structure
Yeah,
is, I think, really carefully thought out. I mean, not in a manipulative way or sometimes calculated for effect.
Yeah.
There's something profoundly structurally beautiful, and then the tone and everything is
Yeah.
also beautiful. I think he would be a fascinating person to be around and listen, talk
Oh,
to
yeah.
and such. I think he's probably a very cultivated person, very intellectual
very
person.
thoughtful. Yeah.
I guess do you think he's ever watched an episode of The Simpsons?
Oh God, I
I don't think
don't.
that's
I don't think so.
probably his thing. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
I love The Simpsons, but this is really amazing.
Yeah,
This is a great recording I've heard two wonderful performers, very different,
Yeah.
playing Bach recently that he
Yeah.
loaned to me. Freddie Kempf
Fred
was the
Kempf.
one before.
Yep.
I gave him that back in the previous
Yeah.
show. And then he lent me this week, and I listened to it. Different pianists.
Very different pianists.
This guy, the thought that comes to mind is like Swiss watchmaker.
Yeah. Very detailed. Everything, comes together as a unit.
But like a really great Swiss watch.
Yeah. A very expensive
Form.
watch.
Form and function,
Yeah.
and even art
Yeah.
are all integrated, in a really nice way.
Yeah.
So bravo to this boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope he goes places.
Oh yeah.
Competition winners don't necessarily
Yeah.
always last.
Doesn't
and go
guarantee
on.
yeah.
But if he can carve up that, we talked about that.
Yeah.
It's like there's certain positions on that iceberg, compartments for specialist kind of
Yeah.
things. If he can carve himself to be one of the people that lives in that room,
Yeah.
he'll do well. He'll do
Yeah.
well. Not that, I mean, he's extraordinary. He won the gold, right? And
Yeah.
he really is an extraordinary musician and everything. But seriously, we talked years ago, last year, whenever it was, about
Yeah.
Barry Douglas.
Barry Douglas.
Remember when he was super hot for a while?
Oh yeah.
Big, tall,
Big name.
strapping Irish
Yeah.
boy and everything, and won the Van Cliburn, didn't he?
Yeah.
Silver?
Second place. Yeah.
Silver.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he
Jose
was,
Figali won gold that
he
year.
was just so amazing, and he had a good career. And it's like, where'd he go?
Yeah. Well, then a couple of years later, he won gold at the Tchaikovsky,
Yep.
and then, he released that Tchaikovsky concerto on the same month, and I'll never forget it because there was both recordings out there over at I think it was Borders place, and they were just sitting there side by side in the classical section. They were both Tchaikovsky concertos, one by Barry Douglas, which had that, and plus there was the three pieces that were piano transcriptions of Prokofiev's Cinderella pieces, and it closed with the Tristan and Isolde transcription at the end.
Good for him.
And then the other Tchaikovsky concerto was released by Ivo Pogorelic.
Ooh.
So how in the world do you compete with that? Because here you have a guy, Ivo Pogorelic. You never know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
You never do. And he was still, very much in the spotlight, and very much talked about. Mostly
was
because the
famous.
interpretations and
He was
Yeah.
all his interpretations,
yeah,
but he wore the string tie with the blousey white shirt,
Mhm.
and his hair was just like all over the place.
leather pants.
And leather pants, and he was in the Chopin competition, and Martha Argerich was one of the judges on the competition. She walked out and left in protest because she thought that the other judges were prejudiced against him,
Yep.
and she thought he was one of the most brilliant people that they'd heard thus far. And his interpretations, certainly earlier on, were unique.
Oh yeah, they were very unique.
But his technique was unprecedented in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget. I wonder, you can barely hear it, but it seems like he plays the Schumann toccata
Mm-hmm.
with no pedal.
Oh yeah.
And
Would
plus
not
that means
surprise
he's got the fingers to wide enough hand to do
Yeah.
it. But he was one that was married to the older lady who was his piano
Yeah.
teacher, right?
Yeah.
There's some good videos about him, and there's a performance. Doesn't he perform Scarbo on the film?
I think so. Yeah.
They've been working on it, and then he plays it.
Yeah. Do you have that recording?
No, it's on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You can anybody can watch it.
Oh.
But his wife died, and that profoundly affected him.
Yeah.
He went into a serious depression
Oh,
for
yeah,
a
he
period
did.
of time. Had some kids together, I think, a couple, 2 or 3.
I don't know for sure.
But ultimately, he eventually shows up again, did some Deutsche Grammophon work, and he he looks like a convict or somebody coming out of a
Yeah, because he had his
totally shorn.
Totally, yeah.
Just really buzzed down, and who knows what all that represents. But Pogorelich was touched with some kind of genius, but he was an acquired taste.
Oh yeah, he was an acquired taste.
But I mean, Barry Douglas. Let's put it this way. Barry Douglas, unfortunately, fit that kind of. It really wouldn't matter who the artist was, but here's a performance of the Tchaikovsky competition in the grand style.
Yeah.
You know, by a pianist and an orchestra and a conductor, like on those master recordings you talk about.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
Well, the guy that released all these recordings, and he just simply dug up stuff from these Europeans that were trying to make some money after the Second World War.
Yeah.
Amazing people. But nobody knew who they were. Nobody ever knew who they were.
Nope.
But I did find that I think he was teaching somewhere, and he lived in Ireland, and I think he mostly, Barry Douglas, kind of kept Europe after that. I know he was active, but... Yeah. So anyway, I hope for Mr. Sham there that he go places. Lord knows that Yunchun is really...
Oh, yeah.
He's keeping it alive.
Yeah.
He's still performing and doing stuff.
Yeah.
I still haven't heard the Chopin Etudes yet. What was it, the Etudes, right?
The Chopin Etudes.
I haven't heard that yet.
Okay.
But, and then I thought, I guess maybe he has things to fulfill. Yeah. Because it said that after he won the Van Cliburn, he didn't think his education was done. He was going to continue studying. And his teacher moved from Korea to the New England Conservatory in Boston.
That's what he did.
To work with him. And he himself was an amazing pianist.
Oh, yeah.
So. Yeah. But I'm interested in these new folks.
Yeah.
Especially Aristo and Yunchun. As I said, they're different personalities.
Oh, yeah.
But what they have in common is exquisite ears.
Oh, yeah.
For playing. And then Yunchun was playing some of that earlier English stuff.
Yeah.
What composer did he say was England's best composer?
Oh, Dallin.
John Dallin.
John Dallin.
He told the British audience at Wigmore Hall he thought that Dallin was the greatest English composer. Yeah. He and now I'm going to forget his name, and I just had it on the tip of my tongue. The guy who studied with Brendel, who lives
Kid Armstrong.
Yeah. Who lives in France, owns and lives in a church that he converted into a performance recording space, and then he lives elsewhere inside the campground.
Yeah.
He's teaching too, I think.
Is he? I did not know that.
With people. Yeah. But and I'm just really impressed. Where did this come from? I mean, these guys are products of some kind of teaching that seems like the stuff you hear about with Leschetizky in Vienna, or the teachers in Odessa, or maybe St. Petersburg. You know, we know about these pianists who studied with them. Yeah. And I think this is a whole new exciting time when that kind of pianist is being created again. Yeah. Somebody got a hold of some serious methodology or something.
Something very serious.
Whatever they're doing. Yeah. But then there's the other guy, LL. Well, I just never... I mean, I love Liberace for who he was, what he was, and all that. He was trained very much classical technique.
Oh yeah.
But so was Oscar Peterson.
Yeah.
Oscar Peterson had a Hungarian teacher up in Hungary, taught him the etudes and everything. Yeah. Chopin. But they never presumed to be classical.
No, they didn't.
You know. No. And Mr. LL has a tendency to. Well, let's put it this way: he was famous for his performance of Campanella. Yeah. And so was Liszt. Yeah. The unfortunate thing for Liszt for a long time. Yeah. For example, Groves, famously or infamously, the 1930s. Yeah. For a man that composed 700 works. And we're talking more. Big ones, big multi-movement things. I mean, big theatric stuff, or like Année de Pèlerinage is not a piece. No. It's a collection of 24 or something? Yeah. Or the Funerari is like 12 pieces or something? Yeah. This is a buttload of music that man created.
That's a lot.
And there was like a large paragraph in the 1930 Groves about Franz Liszt.
Yeah.
And it basically said, kind of a cheap, horse-assed Hungarian pianist who wrote some flamboyant music, really nothing to think about,
Yeah.
Of course, nowadays, they've taken his chapter and turned it into one of those books that you can buy separately with a whole huge list of things. But it was in some ways, and I think any composer and pianist is worth their salt. And God knows Liszt was an extraordinarily profound, deep human being. Mm-hmm. A great thinker and an amazing mind and all that. Well, like Rachmaninoff said, oh, that damn piece. The C-sharp minor prelude that he wrote when he was a student.
Kid. Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted him to play that.
Yeah.
And Ellsworth saw him play, and he said one time he came out and they were playing it, and they wanted it, and I don't know if anybody asked for it out loud, but the second or third encore that he played, he said for Rachmaninoff, he smiled a little bit at the audience and sat down and played the C-sharp minor prelude. Oh. But he hated the piece.
Oh, I know he hated the piece.
Because
he must have
it's still supreme. It's one of if anybody knows a handful of classical pieces, everybody kind of knows the Rachmaninoff C-sharp minor prelude.
Yeah. Right there. I still love the story about how he was sitting in the audience with at a Vladimir Depachman recital, and Depachman comes out for his first encore, and he decides he sees Rachmaninoff there, so he goes out A, G sharp, C sharp, and he takes a look at a glimpse at Rachmaninoff and breaks off in a fancy impromptu.
Good for him. Good for him. C-sharp minor, right?
Yeah, it's a C-sharp minor.
Good for him.
Oh, I've always loved that story.
I wonder if Rachmaninoff...
I wonder
if he laughed.
I gotta know
if he smiled.
What the joke was.
But it's unfortunate, some of these people get known for a certain type of repertoire. And I mean... Yeah, there's some stuff by Liszt, which is, that kind of... What do you call those Rockette girls kicking their legs?
Oh, yeah, the Rocketeers.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then there's, my God, I played the second ballad. I think it's profound work.
Oh, it's a wonderful.
And then the Legends of St. Francis.
Of St. Francis.
Things like that. And there's extraordinary pieces.
Yeah.
So, fame isn't all what it's cracked up to be. But I always felt like LL. That seemed to be what he got known for, sadly.
Yeah, it was. Well,
and it's not one. I mean, you have to say, look, Liberace could play the crap out of the piano.
Yeah,
he was amazing, and he did it with all them huge rings on his fingers.
And some of it, he just made it up as he went. There you go.
And I mean, there's no question that LL's got amazing technique, but it's just kind of what he applied it to.
Yeah. I want to go back to Yuja Wang for a bit. About a month ago, I sent you a link, and with the link I sent the text, the Yuja Wang of jazz.
Oh, that lady!
Remember that lady?
I watched that.
Yeah.
Wow.
She goes only by one name, Hiromi.
Hiromi.
Yeah.
I wonder where she is now. That was a few years old, a decade.
Yeah, that's that's older. I mean, she's still around.
I'll put her name up, and if I can find that YouTube video, I'll put the address for that up.
Yeah,
it's extraordinary. It's Gershwin.
Gershwin's I've Got Rhythm.
Wow, and it goes on for a while.
Oh yeah,
and it's amazing. Am
I right?
Yeah, I think very clearly. This is a worked-out composition, I think. It had to have been. Because it lasts for a long time. Do you think it was all just improvised? I don't know.
Well, some of it was probably planned, but the majority of her work really is improvised.
It's improvisation. It's extraordinary.
And she does it going out like this.
Yeah. Yeah, you know those kind of folks that just get into it.
They're jazz. You know,
it's kind of Keith Jarrett like. He just goes into a trance and just starts playing. But the technique and the speed, my God, that she plays, and the accuracy. Whoa! I mean, that's a stupendous performance. I'll try to find that. I'll put that up for them so they can see.
They got to be about the same height or something because they look very similar.
Yeah. Well, she was wearing the probably thick kind of shoes.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was very cool.
So, Hiromi, we'll put that up for you.
Yeah.
So, you're going to do your promotional thing there?
My promotion? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Holy moly, folks.
One.
You what?
I have one.
You have what one? What? Where? What?
I'm going to do a promotion.
Oh, okay.
We're not sponsoring anything.
We're not sponsoring. I
forgot
to do this.
As far as we know, they don't know anything about us, and hopefully they won't sue us for mentioning their product, because we try to do a good program.
Yeah.
But he really does use this stuff.
Yeah. Take care of your pianos, folks. You're either going to use a Corey piano polish for the high finished pianos, or lemon oil for the antique piano, non-finish. Okay. This one's very good for those. This one's good for the other. Okay. I haven't opened this one yet because I haven't found an antique piano anywhere. But this one I use a lot everywhere I go. So. All right.
I get to do one?
Oh, if you want. Okay. Yeah, sure.
I have one.
Are you going to do it in the style of...
Yes. So, I have a little package here. This has become one of my companions.
Okay.
So... you can't see me. Okay.
No, you can't. That's why I hunch over when I...
So, you know those times when you're practicing, sitting there those long hours, especially I'm thinking of when we were younger and locked in a studio room,
No windows.
Yeah, and just really all by ourselves and start to get peckish, a little hungry and this and that. Last thing we want to do is to leave the room and go get something to eat because somebody else will take your room.
Yeah.
So, in those moments when you want something, a little delectable, and something even a little sweet and nice to chew on.
Yes.
And you don't have your girlfriend or your partner there. Just
get to it already, Mark. Get to it.
All right. Looky here. Wiley Wallaby. Soft and chewy licorice from Australia.
Licorice.
This is their watermelon flavor. And I also recently got a huckleberry. And they make a mixed berry one and a strawberry one, and maybe a raspberry too. This is really good stuff. Let me show you. Okay, open it up here because I am not a big fan of licorice. Right? And especially, but the stuff here in America, like that shoelace licorice and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like old dried leather shoelaces.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. This here. This is wonderful and chewy and tasty and free. It doesn't have a whole lot of crap in it. This is a good companion to have when I'm teaching hour after hour or when I'm practicing. And I'm too lazy to get up and make myself something, so I just grab my licorice. Wiley Wallaby. Licorice, you want one?
Yeah, I guess so. You said it's watermelon?
Yeah.
Whoops. So figure it out. Not bad.
I'm not going to do it every week like he does.
No.
But I saw him today and I thought, this is good stuff. I want to share the joy about this stuff. It's really good. Of course, it's really low calorie. You don't got to worry about cutting fat.
Yeah. Very good.
I'm a big guy, but that for other reasons. Yeah, there's like 3 pieces and it's 90 calories.
Cool.
It's really good stuff. And it's like I learned in Japan. The Japanese believe, because I had, I forget what it's called, kai, I forget the name. But the Japanese idea of preparing a meal that fulfills all the 5 flavors in your mouth.
Really?
Salty, sweet, bitter, things like that. And there's an ancient, well, quite old belief that if you provide food that meets each one of those flavor requirements, you will be satisfied.
Mm.
And you won't want to eat a lot more.
Cool.
I think it works. Because when we lived in Japan, one of the things which is kind of weird when we come back, we got it. Because we sometimes heard visitors say that. Your food is a little bland. And I think they're talking about more traditional, ordinary American food. Probably, I'm sorry, but British influence. You boil the vegetables, cook the meat to death, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Your food's a little bland. But there sure is a lot of it. And in Japan, it was just the opposite. The food was just... Now, it's not like over-the-top necessarily taste, but it really... If it's not like gross bitter, but if it meets the bitter, it meets the salt, meets the sweet, whatever. I remember one time, one of the last times I was in Japan, when it was a farewell to my choir, the ladies arranged for a special farewell dinner for me at a very famous restaurant in Kyoto that had its origins back into the time of Elizabeth I.
Mm.
They'd been around that long. I have no idea, but my guess is at the time, this was the late 90s, every single lady in that chorus that participated in the meal, there had to have been at least $1,000 per person, at least.
Wow.
They'd bring something out on this amazing dish or bowl or whatever, and it was an art piece, and you'd eat it. And it was, I think, a 7-course meal.
Wow.
And it was one of each, whatever it was.
Mm.
And it was incredible.
Wow.
Very memorable kind of thing. But anyway, that's not what this stuff is. This is just a nice little friendly,
Snack.
chewy companion. When Laura's not around, I can't chew on her, so... So there you go.
Wow.
So what are we doing? Are we doing something special?
Okay.
We don't have to go forever.
Okay, we don't have to. We're in this about 52 minutes now.
Oh, we haven't.
Yeah.
You gonna do that?
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Okay, everybody. Get your handkerchiefs out.
All right. Okay. About a week ago, my wife and I just lost our beloved pet. It was our dog. His name was Chewie. He lived to be about 12 years. I guess that's what, 70, is it 84? I can't do the math. 84 years in human years. So it was a really long life. We were told by the vet, when we brought him to the vets that he was not getting better. We were thinking of taking him home, but the vet says, "Well, I think he's made up his mind already." Because he wasn't breathing well, and he was just getting worse. So, Kathy and I, we had tears for the next few days, because, we knew all of his favorite places in the house, and we'd see, we'd, clean up all the places that he's been in, and we'd always find something there. We found the collar that he absolutely hated, and so, we found out where he hid it. But the last collar he had was sort of this, Scotsman red, sort of. It had these
tartan on
it. Yeah, sort of. You know what I mean? Scottish red.
Yeah,
sort of. And he liked that one, so he didn't take that one off. So he kept it on. But anyways, we had him for about, I don't know, I'm going to guess half his life, about 6 years.
You adopted him?
No, well, sort of. He actually belonged to our
That's right.
to Kathy's stepdaughter and family. Well, my stepdaughter and her family. Okay. I guess the best way, I'll give you some background information on this. So, my stepdaughter's family, they're 2 adults and 7 kids. 7 kids. 6 girls, 1 boy. And they all live in this one little house, mostly because their finances were somewhat limited. Dad, blue collar worker, has some mechanical training, so he could work at a factory, building cars or something, or working on just some machinery. My stepdaughter, well, she was more into arts and crafts, but there were several attempts made to start a home business on her part, and one of the major ones was revising these little. Remember those baby wraps that came out back in the first decade of 2000, where the women would carry their babies in these wraps,
and they'd come from a South American tradition.
Yeah, one of those things, and she revised it rather cleverly, where they would have these designs where you wrapped it in a certain way, and there would be an eye here, okay, and it's closed, and then once you pull it up, the eye is open, things like that. So, but that's very basic. It's much more involved in that. So, anyways, she would be doing up to 20, maybe 30 of these wraps, in a month. Because she was getting orders, on Facebook and everywhere else, and phone calls, and they would send these baby wraps for her to, redesign, and so they could have fun with it. The other kids, well, like I said, there were 7 kids, 6 girls, 1 boy. The boy was second in line chronologically. I guess when he was about, I'm going to say about 10 years old, 9, 10 years old, he and his father went out to the local hardware store to pick up some things. And anyways, so they arrived at the hardware store, and there was a man out there who had this large cardboard box and little barking puppies in it. And of course, my grandson is, telling Dad, "Can we get one? Can we get one? Can we get one?" He was all excited about all the puppies. They were just all, and from what I'm told, there was just a bunch of them. They were just, yelping and jumping up and down, and people were like marveling over all these puppies. And anyways, my son-in-law was apprehensive about picking one up at their point in time, and says, "Well, let's go into the store first and pick up what we need, and we can think about it." And so he trudgingly goes into the store. They pick up a few stuff. They took about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to pick up everything. Then they walk out the door, and everything's silent, and the crowd has gone away. And he looks at the box and says, "Dad! Dad! There's only one left! There's only one left!" And of course, how could they turn that down? He says, "Okay, go ahead and pick him up." So, anyways, that wound up being Chewie. Now Chewie, was just a puppy then. He was one half Great Pyrenees, the other half was Husky, Golden Lab, perhaps. So he was a mixed breed. But let me see.
I got a picture I can show.
You got to show us.
I'll
the
put it
puppy?
up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not a puppy.
Oh.
But I got a picture of you
Okay.
and him that
All
you
right.
sent me.
Okay. Anyways, it was a beautiful puppy. I mean, it was very cute, lovable. Everybody, the whole family fell in love with this little puppy. Colin didn't go anywhere around the house or the yard without Chewie. They named him well, they started off with Chewbacca, but he doesn't respond to Chewbacca anymore. He didn't, you know. They just kept calling him Chewie, and so he only responds to Chewie. So, anyways, so he was loved by all, his sisters, mom and dad, and our grandson. And so, anyways, they kept him for a while, and he grew very quickly. He grew up very quickly. He was, apparently he used to hang out with the kids all the time, and if one of them was gone, he'd remember where everybody else was and try to go find the other one. And so basically, it's his herding instincts that kicked into gear, his natural herding instincts. He wanted to be sure that everybody was in the same place. So he grew apparently after a while, he grew very, very large. They kept him as long as they could. And they almost got rid of him. So, anyways, as you all know, for my part, I teach piano lessons. I make house calls. I've been doing it since, I don't know, well over 30 years. Well over 30 years, I think. And, anyways, I often don't come home till about 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock at night. And anyways, one day I come home from teaching, and Kathy sees me and says, "Come and see who we have visiting us." And it's Chewie. And I said, "Oh." I said, "Wow, we're dog sitting? Where'd the family go?" He says, "I don't think we're going to be dog sitting. I think he'll be staying here for a while." Well, how long a while? Her only response was that. So, anyways, the story was that he was getting too big. They have a small house. He was getting into the garbage, and he was leaving fur everywhere. I mean, the one thing about Great Pyrenees, they shed a lot of fur. And some of you people, if you own a Great Pyrenees, can back me up on that. They shed 12 months the whole year. I mean, they just don't stop shedding, even during the winter months. And so, anyways, I guess, after getting so big, knocking things over, and getting in the garbage, and getting into this and that, the final straw was when he got into Mommy's sewing room. Mommy's sewing room. And he had ruined a whole month of work on these baby wraps that she had been working on. And she had to call everybody up to tell them that, it would take another month to complete their orders. And so she felt like they had to get rid of the dog. It was the final straw. And so, hence why he was over at our house. He was a slight bit confused. I mean, the first night was not so bad. I mean, he barked a little bit, and so I wound up spending the night downstairs on the couch with him.
Oh.
So it was like that for about a week or so, and eventually, he grew used to being downstairs by himself. He likes the front door. He loves being in the front door. I think it's because of the air that, the gentle breeze that goes underneath the door or something like that. So anyways, I also noticed that he was not really well trained. And so, which probably hence why, he was causing all the ruckus and the chaos at the other house. So I had to at least teach him the rudiments of being a fairly well-trained dog. So I worked on him every day for about a month. I mean, it didn't take long. I mean, strangely enough, he was a very fast learner. A very fast learner. You know, he healed when it was time to go walk. He sat. Now, the one trick they did teach him over there was how to shake. You know, so you say shake, he lifts his paw, you know, and he lets you shake his paw. I mean, that was kind of cute. You just tell him shake, and right away he's ready to shake your hand. So strangely enough, he became really well trained. The one thing he does not like was the crate. We did get a crate for him. It was one of those wire crates. I think some of you might know what that is. He does not like that crate. He didn't like being crated. But it was necessary. It seemed like it was necessary. Okay, simply because apparently he doesn't like Cyril Scott very much. He urinated on his score. So I came home and I noticed that my Cyril Scott, there was a copy of the Lotus Land, and it was slightly discolored and it smelled, and so
did you keep it?
Yes, I kept it. I kept it. I still have it. With a stain and all, and it doesn't smell as bad as it did. Okay, basically, we just hair dried it. We took the hair dryer and just dried it off as much as we could outside. So, but anyways, I couldn't have him very well. He liked really old books. Kathy had some old antique books, and he kept chewing on them. And so some very, some really, valuable books that Kathy really valued quite highly had, a chunk bit off the corner and here and there. I had an old Grieg book, a book about Grieg, and he chewed that up too. So we couldn't very well. So basically, we stuck all those books in one room, and we made sure the door was shut. But he was still getting into things, and so we made it necessary to get this crate for him. He was used to it for a while, but he didn't like being stuck in there at longer lengths of time. Okay, and he showed that when we got home. He came to the front door, wagging his tail, and I was like, "Well, how did he get out?" I was like, so we both went back to the kitchen where we put the crate, and he had literally mangled that crate. I mean, it was not even a crate anymore. I mean, it was just this bent out of shape sculpture. The door was like bent this way, and he had obviously taken his teeth and just went crunched on the door until it opened. And the rest of it was just something that he tried getting out. One end was crunched here, another one was crunched here, but the front part of the door, when he finally found the spot, he just kept crunching on it, and the door just snapped open, and he got out. So he definitely didn't like that. So anyways, so we never stuck him in the crate again. Okay, we just had to show him where his boundaries were. We didn't allow him we only allowed him in the family room when we were home. Otherwise, it was gated. The music room, once again, was gated. I didn't want him near the piano and my other scores for him to critique. So, but there was one time where, let's see, we left him out in the backyard, to see how well he liked the backyard, and he seemed to enjoy the backyard a lot. So, we asked, my stepdaughter's family about it, and my grandson says, "Oh yeah, he loves being outside." Well, You know, it says they said they used to leave him out there all night. I was like, you did? I said, yeah. I said, real? And he was fine with that? I said, oh yeah, he liked it. You know, they said they used to be sure he was okay, and he'd come, you know, running up the door with a, you know, wagging his tail, still smiling, you know. And then, you know, when we went back in, he just went back to this old doghouse back in the corner and go back to sleep, right? So, anyways, Kathy and I were, you know, left him out one time, and we went out for dinner with some friends, and we didn't get home till about roughly 10:30, maybe 11 o'clock, and we heard all this barking going on in the backyard, and I was wondering what was going on. It says, and so I go out in the backyard, and I turn on the lights. I still can't see him, so I get a flashlight, and I go back, and he's fighting with a raccoon. He's fighting with a raccoon and having a devilish time with it, I guess.
Maybe vicious.
Yeah, the raccoon kept trying to get away, trying to get up the fence, and he'd come over and grab it by the back and just do his thing like this, and the thing would get thrown, and he'd go right back after it. But apparently, you know, okay, some of you animal activists out there, we're going to have to forgive me about this, but I finally had to end the whole thing. I went back to the by our backyard porch, grabbed a pitchfork, killed the thing, and tossed it out over the fence, which ended the whole thing. Meanwhile, Chewie is covered with blood and guts all over him, and I was like, but the raccoon was still alive, so what the hell's going on? Well, apparently, I'm looking around the backyard, and there are pieces of at least, I think was 2 other raccoons. There was a head over here, a leg over here, and so he had gotten into a fight with 3 raccoons, full-grown raccoons. So, anyways, that night we just sort of cleaned him up a little bit and took him to the vets to have him checked out. And so they checked him out. We were there for about, I think, 2 hours. They did some blood work. They checked under his fur and everything. And the vet came back, not a scratch on him. Well, what about his blood work? He says, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. You know, so we could give him a shot just in case he has, you know, tainted, and that's about it. But he's fine. There's not a scratch on him. He says, are you sure? He says, yep. He's got a thorough check. I was like, wow. So, other than that, so the next morning, I had to go out in the backyard and collect raccoon pieces from the backyard.
Oof.
So that was gross, folks. That was about the grossest part of the whole experience, having Chewie in our lives. That was the grossest right there. Okay, so, and I finally told that story to my grandson, and he says, "Oh yeah, he's been known to kill raccoons in our yard too." So it's not that he hasn't done it before. So apparently he considers raccoons a menace and does not like having them in our yard. For a more humorous moment, I've seen him chase deer out of our yard, and the first time he saw that, he was barking at the back door, and he sees a deer. He says, "You want to?" I was like, "Want to get him?" You know, so he looked like he was ready to get him. So I opened the back door, and out he went like a shotgun, chased the deer around the yard. The deer finally leaped over the fence, and he stopped in his tracks and thought for a moment. You know how those dogs, think about it. They cock their heads to one side like this, wondering what they're going to do. And they just say, "Oh, screw it. I'll just go back home." But that was the look he had. Okay, he just kind of stopped his track and just thought, forget it. Just turned around and came back. So, anyways, we took this dog out for a walk every day. Sometimes 3 or 4 walks a day. He would at least get 2. One thing he enjoyed very much was those walks. He was a known dog all over the block. Everyone knew Chewie. Because he had a very bright personality. A very bright personality. He was a very noble-looking dog. He was large. Chewie had to weigh about, at his heaviest, he was about 165 pounds. At his heaviest, I think. And even the vet said he needed to lose some weight eventually. So, which he did. He eventually lost some weight. We got him down to about, I don't know, somewhere between 125, I think, 115, somewhere there. But it was a lot of weight at 160. So, anyways, I think the one most particular part about his personality that caught people's attention is when we were walking, he always had this big smile on his face. Big smile. And his tail, it was a long, bushy tail. I don't know if it's hairy. And it was always like this. Walking around. Just the way it waved in the air. And it just said, come by and say hi, is basically, and all the kids would come running and they'd want to ask if they want to pet the dog, and so I'd let them pet the dog. It was very popular with children. I've never known Chewie. Well, I've only known Chewie to not be friendly terms to maybe 3 or 4 people, and that was it. He was very, I guess there was something about these people that he just didn't want them in his circle. And he made it very clear he didn't want them near him. He made it very clear. He'd snap, his jaws would snap, and, he'd bark, he'd growl, he'd bare his teeth, and it was a side of him that you did not see very often, except when, met with raccoons, or for some reason he was not friendly terms with huskies, which he has some husky in it. That's the weird part. Was not friendly terms with the huskies, pit bulls. Does not like pit bulls. Well, I scratched that. There was one pit bull he was actually in friendly terms with, one, and that was it. But there was at least two other pit bulls that he was not on friendly terms, he just went on crazy mode whenever he walked. But the one thing I discovered about Chewie that's interesting was that he senses everything. So I remember walking him once, and it was just a walk, and that's how I started treating it. And whenever those pit bulls or the other husky were walking the opposite street, I didn't think anything of it, and he didn't do anything. He just sort of walked right by them. And I told Kathy that. So next time you see that husky or that pit bull coming down the other side of the street, just don't fret about it. I think he senses that. Well, Kathy said it didn't work for her. But ever since I discovered that fact about how you just not fret about the other dog on the other side of the street, he's just calm and cool. We just walked right past him, and he's never reacted. The only time he's ever reacted was when he saw them from the front door. So Anyways, and then there was a time that he threw up on the floor. I was alarmed at first, but I later found out that one of our granddaughters fed him a whole package like that of treats. A whole package. He fed him a bunch of treats, and he threw up all over the kitchen floor. Funny, strange thing about that was we didn't feed him those treats for about a couple of weeks, but was ready for more after a couple of weeks. So, but I mean, it's a simple granddaughter thing. I mean, she just took the treats and just started feeding him to him, and he just scarfed them down, all of it, the whole package, and it was just a messy scene. Oh, I hope it doesn't deter you from eating that.
I was going to have another one.
Oh, okay, good.
You want another one?
No, I'm fine, thanks. So, anyways, Chewie, Oh, there was also the moment when I didn't know this about Great Pyrenees, at least of all Chewie. A few years back, we had this really bad snow. We had drifts in our backyard, and Chewie loves the snow, absolutely loves the snow. And anyways, so we let him play out in the snow. I mean, one morning we just let him play out the snow, and weather was starting to get rough, and so we wanted to call him in. So I'm calling him. I'm looking around trying to see if I can see Chewie out in the snow, and I see his paw prints in the snow, and they like disappear into nowhere. It's like a big giant came over, picked him up, and walked off with him. It was the weirdest thing. And I'm still looking around from our back door. Well, where is he?
Did you look up for the alien spacecraft?
Yeah, I thought about that too. Possibly aliens. So I yell, "Chewie!" And he pops out of a snowdrift. He pops out of a snowdrift. He's been hiding in a snowdrift the whole time.
Playing hide and seek.
So he pops out of the snowdrift and he comes, galloping through the snow, which was, deeper than his legs. And he comes in and he's right there at our back door, wagging his tail. And says, "Come on in." And he comes on in. So that was a cute moment. Anyways, that was our dog. He was a very smart dog. Eventually, he'd learn to open the front door by himself if it was unlocked. If it was unlocked, he'd just jump on the side of the door, use his snout to open the front door, and out he went. But if the front door was locked, he'd know that too. He just tried to open the door, it wouldn't open, and he just gave up and just laid down at the front door and waited for me to come home. So
You'd that being kind of your dog?
Basically, he is my dog.
Yeah.
And it's the funniest thing because I think the only people he actually took orders from was my grandson, my son-in-law, and myself. He didn't listen to Kathy very much. Kathy would just finally, tell him to come in, and he wouldn't come in. And she just finally had it. He says, "Daggone it." He says, "Get your ass in here, dog." And he'd grab him by the collar, and he'd finally get the message to come in. But me, no. I just say, "Chewie, get in here." And he'd just come right in. No problem. I think I don't think I've never had to tell him more than twice. I want him to come in or sit or whatever. Heel. I've never had to tell him more than twice. So he was a good dog. He was very smart. And he wouldn't eat until I told him to. That was another thing. He wouldn't. I'd have his food ready in his bowl, and he wouldn't eat unless I told him to. Just eat, and he'd come over and munch down his meal.
Wow.
And it took him less than I mean, and he was a good eater. It didn't take him long. I mean, he was hungry. He ate. I mean, I think it took him just a little over a minute to finish a whole. I don't know. At least I'm going to say 3 cups of food in that bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, for that dog, at least that. So. Yeah, he was a good eater. He had a very healthy. He had a very healthy appetite, clear to the end.
Oh.
Clear to the end, because I'm told that when they're ready to go, they don't have much of an appetite. But apparently, his appetite was there even towards the end. So.
Did you like your fried rice? Did you ever give him some?
Well, I think he did because the kids gave it to him. So, yeah, he ate that. But I'll tell you what he liked even better. He liked freshwater salmon.
Ooh.
It came in a can.
Wow.
And so, with dog his size, we just gave him the whole can.
Yeah.
We just put it in his dog food, and he just went nuts over it. So that could possibly be why he had a good healthy appetite to the end, was because of the salmon. The doctor said, eggs are good for a dog too, so we gave him an egg with it. So Kathy insisted on making sure the egg was cooked. I was like, oh, come on, Kathy. If the dog was out in the wild, he'd be eating that salmon raw and the egg too.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But rather than fight with the wife, I went and scrambled. He had a scrambled egg with his salmon as well.
Wow,
so,
nice.
So, and he liked it. He enjoyed it. I mean, he's. I doubt very few dogs would have their meals served hot. So, which he got. So. Yeah, he was.
Chewie.
Yeah, our dog. Yeah, he always looked forward to me coming home. He was always at the front door. Kathy left the front door open, the storm door right there, and he'd just sit there, lying there at the mat in front of the door, just waiting for me to come home. And once I got home, he'd stand up on his legs, wagging his tail, because he knew I was going to take him for a walk when I got home.
Wow.
No matter how late it was at night.
Yeah.
We did. We went out for a walk. He was also one of my severest critics when I practiced. He loves Bach. He was fine with Bach. Okay. For some reason or other, he doesn't like Brahms. He doesn't like Liszt. He doesn't like Beethoven. But Bach, yeah, he likes Bach.
Wow.
Mozart, fine with Mozart. Chopin, he was fine with Chopin.
Wow.
He was absolutely fine with Chopin. No problem there. But Brahms, Beethoven, and Liszt, not to his liking. And it was funny, because he was content. He would sit there at the front door, storm door, and Bach, Mozart, Chopin, he was fine with. And then Beethoven or Brahms or Liszt, he was like this. And even in some of the worst moments, I'd hear, and he would do that incessantly. So until I just let him out in the backyard, till I got done practicing, those composers. But Chopin, he was fine with, oddly enough. So
food.
Okay, all right.
Okay, you got something to do in the meantime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, folks, if you have any pet stories, share them with us. Chewie was a very, very much a part of our family. he belonged to our grandkids first before he came to us. He was, it's strange. He was just, I've never felt, this. He was a big part of our lives. I won't be taking any more walks. Well, I'll be taking those walks by myself now. We have about a good couple dozen of cans of salmon in the pantry, which we'll probably wind up using for something else. My grandson, who is now, I think he's 21, I guess he'll be to remember his dog. I mean, he could just remember his dog, but I guess as a tribute, he plans on having Chewie's paw print tattooed to his heart.
Oh, wow.
So that's his plan.
That's quite a tribute.
Yeah, he really loved that dog.
Which is why he couldn't show up.
Yeah.
He couldn't show up for it.
My grandson once told me that if Chewie was a real human, oh, the stories he could tell about our grandson. He says Chewie knows everything. He says he knows absolutely everything about what I've done, what I've said. He knows everything. So I guess dogs are good in that way. So, but anyways, yeah. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed that story. I know probably, I mean, we did talk about piano for a while there, for about at least half an hour, 45 minutes or so.
Yep.
So we talked about everything.
Okay, this is special.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, I did have some stuff over here, just in case
Well, we can.
everything.
You want to do that while you eat? Can you do
While
both?
we eat?
Yeah. Ready?
I guess so. I don't know. It would be really like talking with my mouth full, but...
No, you can,
Yeah.
we can take
Try.
breaks.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, folks, you know our MO. I guess we might be doing this at least 2 segments at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to PSI's Witch'n Kitch'n. And perhaps we might even sneak in PSI's... what is that text segment called? Pieces to consider.
Oh, all pieces?
All pieces considered.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Wow. Look at the color. Okay. You gonna do all pieces considered too?
We'll just
Mississippi?
run them together.
Okay.
You want it to be really like John Cage. Well, that's not fair to John, though, but you want it to be some kind of chaos. I'll play both of the theme musics at the same time.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, that'd be different. Boy, that'd be a first in PSI history.
Yeah. You want to show it to him?
Okay. Looks good. So, what are we eating here?
This is turkey chili. It's actually a chili recipe, vegetarian chili recipe from Molly Katzen's Moosewood Cookbook. If you guys remember, the older folks. I think the restaurant's still there, probably, in Ithaca, New York. The Moosewood.
Wow.
And Molly Katzen was this amazing hippie time lady who was an artist as well. She did these beautiful drawings and paintings, and she did a whole series of cookbooks. But at least initially, it was all based on the idea of vegetarianism. And Laura had some ground turkey meat she decided to put in with it.
Wow.
It's got some Jarlsberg cheese mixed in with it. I'll put the recipe up.
This is delicious.
But again, this is just one of the many recipes from my collection, my library, both real and digital. And Laura just said, how about I make some chili last night? And so yesterday she made the chili. I had some last night. And of course, you know, with soups and things like that, it gets better as the days go by. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm interested to try it now and see how it compares to last night when it was fresh.
It's delicious, Mark.
Yeah. Thanks.
Wow.
So it's no big deal, but it's just, you know, our celebration of food a little bit. And we thought, well, Laura kind of thought we should have something special to remember Chewie with, so she made chili. That's one of her. Chili for Laura. She's from southeastern Arizona. Chili is comfort food, soul food for her. And I think she does a good job with it, actually.
Oh, she did excellent. This is really good.
Mm-hmm. There's all totally
It's very savory.
homemade.
My goodness.
She adapts the recipe, but everything in here is hand tailored. She really has a flair for lots of stuff, but especially certain southwestern dishes. Wow. We don't typically
Whoa.
make chili like this here in Ohio. It's not a Midwestern recipe.
No, it is not. Wow, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
That's excellent.
It was my idea to put the garbanzo beans in because I like them so much.
Mm. Nice touch. So, what piece did I bring for All Pieces Considered?
I don't know, Elmer. What piece did you bring?
Okay, this is highly unexpected, but I brought in the 3 Preludes for the piano by Kent Kennan.
Oh, Ken Cannon. He did my counterpoint book.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one where we studied counterpoint,
counterpoint.
and fugue and stuff.
yeah. Yeah, he's from the University of Michigan, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Take a good look at it. Kent Kennan. The first prelude. The second prelude. It's about the... Wow, that's 8 measures long. It's chorale. And the third piece. Third prelude. This is, well, I don't know if it's still in print, but it was published by George Schirmer.
Oh.
New York, London. Distribution, I guess. Copyright 1941.
Ooh.
That's a while back. Now, I looked for performances of these preludes, and on YouTube, and there are not many of them. There's about a dozen or so. I mean, which is a fairly good number. But I'll tell you what, it was quite popular with the younger people. The teenager, maybe in the students who were in their 20s. It was quite popular. I mean, there was a lot of videos from at least 12 to 20 years ago. Let's see. There's the 2 performances I saw on YouTube. One is by Emerson Meyer of Catholic University in D.C. Jessica Monnier from Cornell College. She's got a lot of mileage on these pieces. I think she has 3 videos on YouTube of her performing these. Well, I hope she doesn't mind, but those were quite a few years back, at least a decade. So what we have here, 3 preludes. The first movement is an allegro scherzando, metronome, dotted quarter note at 80-84. The first piece is basically an ABA form, 62 measures in all. It has octatonic influences. Uses those kinds of devices. It's sort of dance-like. But it also uses extended major, 9th, 11th, and 13th harmonies. Uses chordal harmonies as well. Now, I say that it uses octatonic devices, and that's mostly in the right hand.
So it's big handpiece.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Here, take a look. Octatonic.
Oh.
Mostly thirds, second inversion chords on the right hand. That's
see.
about it. But
Between the right and left.
Yeah. Most of the octatonic devices is mostly in the right hand, but it's the left hand that keeps the harmonic center.
Do they know what octatonic means?
Okay, octatonic. All right, structures. It's a scale based that uses alternatively whole tones and semitones in the scale. So that's what it does on the right hand. Anyways, it's a good. The first movement not long. It's only a couple pages long. The second movement is a lento. Now, excuse my Italian here. It says here. All right, you say it. It's the chorale.
Lento nello stile di un corale.
Jeez, do that again.
Lento
Lento.
nello stile di un corale.
Nello stile di un corale. I'm just imitating him. One thing about Filipinos, we know how to copy well sometimes. Okay, the metronome, quarter note to 60 to 63. This is only 8 measures long. It is composed of 4 2-bar phrases, rather organ-like. Okay, bar 4. The phrase begins on the dominant, both hands in the treble. Interestingly enough. Movement 3, Prelude 3, is an Allegro con fuoco. This is where all the fireworks come in, folks. Allegro con fuoco. Quarter note at 108 to 112. Gosh, I have trouble reading my own handwriting. 112. This one's 90 measures long. It rather charges forward. It's almost like an army on attack. Is what it sounds like. Rather brass-like. Some very repetitive rhythm. It's where all the fireworks happen, folks. Right there. Now, this piece, these 3 preludes, please consider it, as a rather advantageous alternative to maybe something like the Gershwin's 3 preludes or something. It's a great work. It's brilliant. It's I would say it uses much, very advanced harmonies and compositional techniques. I mean, you can't beat it. The octatonic technique, as far as compositional devices go. I guess that was an in thing back then. Because I think I brought in at least 3 or 4 other works that uses that technique.
From a structural point of view, it looks well crafted, all 3 movements.
Oh, yeah.
And they look very appropriate for each style of a scherzo, chorale, and kind of a con fuoco kind of movement.
Mm-hmm.
And very pianistic.
Oh, very
I
pianistic.
think they would not be difficult to play. Have you ever performed them?
I've never performed them. I've played through them a few times when I found it in my library. As you can tell, if you can see this, there used to be a price tag on it.
Yeah.
Got it from half price. I think I probably got it for about $1 or something.
I know this book on the back. I have this book.
Many people had that book.
Yeah.
I think they still sell those
It's
over
got good stuff in it. It's what they call modern repertoire at the time.
Yeah, but it's got Rachmaninoff in it.
Yeah. But it's got a lot of cool pieces. Granger,
Yeah.
the Granados, Griffiths, the White Peacock.
Yeah.
Huh. That's the first time I've ever seen. No, you know something?
What?
I wonder if he wrote a brass sonata
Oh, he did.
for trombone or trumpet or
Yep,
something like
he
that.
did. He
Because I
did.
remember playing with a student and Boulder, I think, and it was a sonata or something by Kennan.
Yeah.
I accompanied him in it.
Look at that. How unlikely of me. Please forgive me, folks, but I just jumped into this composition here. I didn't even give any background about the composer himself. All right, so his full name. Full name. Kent Wheeler Kennan. He is a composer, author, and a professor. Born April 18th, 1913 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Died on November 1st, 2003. 90 years old,
wow.
Austin, Texas.
Wow.
His main instruments were organ and piano. Did his studies at University of Michigan, where he eventually wound up teaching, and at the Eastman School of Music. He actually taught at Kent State for a while, very briefly. He was at OSU for 2 years. He was also at the University of Texas. And, like Dr. Marc here said, if you're very familiar with the name, particularly some of you music students or former music students, we actually had to study counterpoint from his book.
I got his book right there on the shelf over there.
You do?
Blue book, counterpoint.
Okay. May I get it?
It should be right there in the second from the left. Second from the right. I think on the second shelf, isn't that it there?
The book's it.
No, the back. There.
Oh, there it is. Yes, I have this book as well. Yes. Boy, this brings back memories. Anybody familiar with this one?
We're doing a lot of exercises out of that book.
Yeah, we had to compose our two-part inventions on this theory.
Yes, I remember we did that in Baroque music. We did exercises and canons at the third, at the fourth, at the fifth, at the sixth.
Yeah. I like how he sometimes doesn't take credit for everything. He mentions Johann Fuchs.
Oh yeah?
Yep. If some of you high school kids out there are watching us, you might want to find a copy of that book, Johann Fuchs Counterpoint. It's interesting. It's written in a style of like a play. So basically, you'll see dialogue from teacher and dialogue from pupil. And so it's just a back and forth, and the pupil asks questions throughout the book while the teacher answers, and he demonstrates, and you get examples and things. It's really cute. So, and apparently, every great composer had to study this book.
What was it called?
It's I think it's called. It's by Johann Fuchs, F-U-X.
Right.
But every great composer had to study this. Beethoven, Mozart, Haydn, they all did it. They all had to study from this book.
I think he was a contemporary of Bach. Wasn't
He may have been a contemporary.
One of the Bachs. I don't know if it was Johann or Carl Philipp Emanuel, but he goes back to about that period of time.
Yeah, I have a copy somewhere at home. It's in paperback. And I wish... I also have somewhere in the hardback a copy of Beethoven, Mozart's, and Haydn's homework assignments.
Oh.
Yeah, and those are funny because you can tell that even back then their personalities were being formed. Beethoven's handwriting, you can see where he's still marking things off and changing the answer to such and such. So
Mozart's probably looks perfect.
Oh, immaculate.
Yeah.
I mean, even Haydn, his is different. He knew where the note heads went, on the staff, but he wasn't always consistent as to where he drew the stems or how long the stems were.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean that in a way that was kind of like Haydn, and some of them I would imagine were done when he was already a teenager. You know, because he had a late start.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, folks, an hour and 50 minutes here. So
I think that's good.
I think it's very good. Excellent chili, Mark.
Good.
It's excellent.
Well, that's Laura. You made it.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Laura.
Yes, thank you. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed our show today. If you enjoyed our show, our conversations, our company, our topics of conversation. If you enjoyed what we've been listening to, please go below the video, comment, like, and subscribe. Tell your family and your friends and coworkers, all about us. But even more importantly, let them know that, we thank you for being one of our subscribers and our viewers. So, come back and see us again. We'll bring you back some more stuff.
I'm Dr. Mark.
I'm Elmer. And
we are Marc and Elmer's PSI Piano Scene Investigations.
Say bye, guys. Bye. Goodbye. See you all.